Sorry about that, guys. Storage issues on this phone. But to sabotage your ability to be able to have people around you that can be your support, and they have this ability because of the power that they share in this kingdom. So that was one of the reasons why Michael was so comfortable and confident in doing a lot of the things that he did, coming on my page and exclaiming that he's gay. And that's the reason why he would never be able to have done what he did as far as sexually assaulting me, which I thought was really funny because while I was there, the first day I got there, he first picked me up, we got down the road and his phone started blowing up. And I was like, who's that calling you? And he was just like, oh, it's my sister. And then his mom was calling him, and they were just blowing his phone up. So finally he answered the phone, and his sister was like, hey, what are you doing? And they had this conversation, and she was like really trying to poke and pry and find out, who I was and what the nature of my visit was. And I could tell that they thought, I was some girl that was visiting him, for, other reasons, a prospect or, a friend that maybe, was a possible, romantic situation. And, so he began explaining that to me, and he was just like, yeah, I normally don't have people visit me or whatever. And they just kind of assumed that because I told them that you were coming out, I told them that you were a target and blah, blah, blah. So I ended up meeting them. I met his sister, his mother, his grandmother, and his grandfather. And everyone was, really nice, super nice people, completely unaware of who Michael really is. And I could just tell. And that's basically how it is in families a lot of times. You don't know the other side of people. And their conversation with me was basically probing to see, if I was there for romantic reasons, who I was to Michael and all of that. And I assured them that no, I'm just a targeted individual. This is what I told his sister. Now with his grandmother and his mother, he advised me not to say anything to them about being targeted because he didn't want to worry them. I thought that was strange. I thought that was weird that he was advising me not to tell them about me being targeted and about my being sexually assaulted and my history of those things. And, and so I went along with it, because it's just like, oh, this is your family. This is how you want things to be done. So it's fine. No big deal. But they were all under the impression that, I was out there and, there was not an atmosphere of them thinking that he was homosexual. They were approaching me and they were approaching him as if he were definitely very heterosexual. And Michael, although I can say that he might be confused, I can say that because he did have a lot of very girly mannerisms and girly ways. A lot of the conversation that he had with me would definitely display that he was heterosexual. He was complimenting me, saying that he thought that I was attractive. And it was not contrived. I'm not stupid. As he said before, I am older. I've been around for quite some time, and I can tell when a man is attracted to you, not necessarily wanting to do anything with you, but is sincerely and genuinely attracted to you. And that he was attracted to women and not, interested in men. To my knowledge, like I said, these people are chameleons, so you just don't know. But as far as and I'm only commenting on that part of it, not that it matters, because again, Michael, he's not my type in any fashion, form, or way. But I'm just trying to give you an idea of like what kind of a personality he had. Very arrogant. He actually said to me verbatim that women are mesmerized by him. Girls are mesmerized by him, and he knows he's attractive, that he's good looking. And he was kind of looking at me for confirmation, and I just kind of looked like, are you serious? Like, I laughed because I thought it was so outrageous that you could be this arrogant. So, I kind of was laughing, and he just kind of stood there like waiting for me to, be like, yeah, you're an attractive guy. And I never said that because I don't, and I'm not saying this to be mean, but I don't think Michael is an attractive person. He's not my type, so I can't say that I think he's attractive. But I wasn't thinking of him in that way at all anyway. I wasn't thinking whether or not he was attractive or not attractive. I was there because I was looking for a trustworthy friend for help. I wasn't looking for anything more than that. That was it. So those things were not on my mind, and they're not on my mind. So I'm just speaking to it, like I said, because of so many lies. He lies so much. And right after I made that video and I said that, he had assaulted me, he immediately got on my comment page and commented that he's gay. So I find it very, very weird and odd and hard to believe that you would actually admit to being gay on social media and not have ever told your family members that you were. Because his family was not under the impression when I was there or any knowledge that he's gay. And I don't recall any videos him ever making about, him being homosexual either, because he tries to claim to be such a Jesus freak. So you're homosexual and you're a Jesus freak, really? You're this prophet, is what he told me, that he's a prophet. You're a prophet. You're a homosexual prophet. So I mean, so much contradiction, so many lies, but that's what they do because they don't expect people to look between and look at their lies and see the lies, acknowledge the lies. They don't expect people to do that. So after he introduced me to his family or whatever, they were calling and asking questions, and his sister wanted to talk to me and she wanted more information about me being targeted. And I was comfortable with talking to her about it, no problem, but he did not want me to talk to her about it. I don't want you talking to her about it. And his excuse was he didn't want her to become targeted. But you could talk to her about your targeting and she's fine. But if I start talking to her about being targeted, she might become targeted. Does that make sense? Because she was completely aware of gang stalking and being targeted because of him. So when I first met her, she was like, so do you have a page and are you gang stalked? And I said, yeah. And she wanted, information or whatever. And I was comfortable with giving it to her because I don't have anything to hide, you know. And he was like adamant, no, I don't want her knowing about that. I don't want her, involved and yada yada. Okay. And now it just all makes sense. It's because you've lied. You've been lying to people. You've been telling people that you feel like you can manipulate, the story that you want them to know. Those that you know that you can't manipulate, like your mom, your grandmother, and those people, you don't say anything to them. Because at that point you're going to have to really start giving, some background. And just FYI, the entire time I was there and the time I've talked to Michael, he's never talked to me about symptoms of being gang stalked. Everything that he talked about, that he tried to make it seem as though that was a part of being gang stalking, was just a part of the regular normal life. He didn't have, and as you can see, he doesn't have any issues. He's working. He's able to make money. He's holding out an apartment. He's buying his groceries, putting them in his refrigerator, and nothing's happening to him. Oh, is it because he's so protected by God? And the rest of us targets were not protected by God. Even the ones that believe in Jesus are not protected by God. So it, you gotta wake up. You just gotta wake up and realize that when you're looking at somebody and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. It's like, dude, like, you don't have anything going on in your life that, makes you a target. So, I mean, like I was saying about the truck, the truck was out there, and when I was there, I tested it out. It was out there for like 3 days in the same spot. So I verbally, out loud, spoke about this van. We left, went out to the store, came back, and the van was moved. It didn't leave the apartment complex, but it was moved. And I knew that there was an association with that van being there and what was happening to me in that apartment. And when I say I knew that there was an association, that somebody was feeding him information on when I was falling asleep in that apartment. Because that's the technology that they use. They use an application on their phone to see the things that I see and to hear the things that I hear. And they know when I fall asleep because they can see me closing my eyes. I've done the test. And I did the test while I was in his apartment as well. Like, I would close my eyes acting like I was going to sleep. And every time I did that, there was movement in his room. Like clockwork. Every time I closed my eyes and acted like I was falling asleep, there was movement in his bedroom. His bedroom, in that video, you can see where the couch was up against the wall. And that's how the couch and everything was orchestrated while I was there. It was right up against his room. And in the floor's wood, so you could hear all the movements and stuff like that. And the little mat that he slept on was very loud. And every night when I went to lay on the couch, and we were both partying to go to bed, I would do that. I would close my eyes like I was going to go to sleep, and he would start moving in his room, moving in that bed, and it was synchronized every single time. Now, it's not a coincidence. Come on, not a coincidence. And it was every night the same thing. And I kept testing it. That's one of the reasons why I stayed as long as I did, is because I didn't want to accuse somebody that was innocent of something that they, something horrific as, sexual assault. I wanted to know. So every night I did that test. And I won't get into, the other things that they use to commit this crime on this video, just simply because of legal reasons. But again, this is just one of the things that I did to assure myself that what I was seeing, what I was hearing, and what I was feeling was correct. And he went through this whole horrible acting job of trying to ask me, how do I believe they're getting in, and do you think they're coming in through my room? Now, I'll do this in another video, where I describe Michael's bedroom and his window, and how there's just no way that someone could come into his bedroom when he's up on the second or third floor. I think he's on the second floor, and take out this window that weighs a good 40 pounds. That's right, literally over his head. And take it out, place it somewhere where, away from where he's actually laying and sleeping, and go to his door where there's 3 locks on it from the inside, unlock it, and without the key. I mean, it's just like, it doesn't make sense. But he knew that I knew that that's where they were coming from, because the door and the balcony was secure. He did things to it, but whenever he would go in his room, I would do extra things to it just so that I can know for myself that it hadn't been disturbed. And every single time that everything happened, there was nothing disturbed. Now he goes into this conversation about this phone again. So the second night that I was there, I already knew that I had been assaulted by him the first night. But again, you want to be sure. You want to be sure. That's the way my mind works. So the second night I was there, I was watching a television show on my phone. And I was lying on his couch, and I laid the phone on the edge of the couch near my head so that I can watch the program while I'm lying down. And I pulled the coffee table up close to the table so that no one could walk through the little gap. And if they did, they would have to move the table back. So I set both of those things there for a reason. So I closed my eyes, pretended like I was going to sleep just to test it. And like clockwork, he starts moving around the room. So I ended up falling asleep maybe 2 or 3 hours after all of that. And woke up, and the coffee table's pushed back, and my phone is sitting on the coffee table. It's not on the couch, on the edge of the couch any longer. It's on the coffee table. I had it set for the alarm to go off. Someone disabled that. And I also had it set to record. Someone turned that off. Now, you tell me how all that can happen and I'm just hallucinating it. Or whatever his claim is. Which I don't think he has a rebuttal to it, other than the fact that he didn't do anything. So immediately, I go to his room and I knock on the door because at this point I know he's guilty and I want to see his reaction. So I go and knock on his door, and he comes out, and I tell him that something has happened. I didn't accuse him. I did something happening in your apartment. I explained to him what happened with the phone and everything, and so he's like, "Oh my gosh, how do you think they got in?" We go through this whole spiel, and he becomes livid because of a statement that I made. I said, "Well, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Whatever happened, however they got in here, whoever it is, I'm going to get to the bottom of it." Then he starts going immediately in on me. Instead of being like, "Yeah, I'm going to get to the bottom of it too. I want to know what's happening." It wasn't that at all. It was just immediate defense. So again, I'm a study of behavior, and when you're in the front of somebody and you are able to see their behavior and their reaction to things, you can tell if it's organic or if it's contrived, and I'm very good at that. Everything about his body behavior was contrived. And when he realized that I was not going to just let it go, because he felt like he'd gotten away with the first time. This is the second night, mind you. So when he realized that I wasn't going to let it go and I said I was going to get to the bottom of it, that's when he became threatened. And he's like, "Oh, okay, so what does that mean?" And what do you think it means? So again, there's a lot of moving parts to this story and the things that went on while I was there with Michael, and I have every intention on giving you guys the real deal on the recordings and answering whatever questions you may have. Like I said, feel free to reach out to me. If you want to reach out to me through email, you want to exchange phone numbers, you want to talk, we can totally do that because I don't have anything to hide. If you want to listen to these recordings yourself, if you want to have a detailed conversation about what happened, I'm open to that as long as you are a legitimate TI and I can see that you have content. Don't call or reach out to me if you just made that video of this channel. You have no content, no information about who you are. Don't bother, because I know exactly who and what you are. But if you are a TI and you want to know the truth about what happened, or you want to at least hear my side before you start trying to make me out to be this bad person, hit me up, and we can totally take care of that. Because like I said, I don't have anything to hide. I can't stand dealing with liars and people who are sabotages and slanderers, and they want to lie their way through things. Like, if Michael came on this video and he had things to say and it was true, more power to you. But the fact that you're coming on here like a coward and you're lying about stuff, that's what's killing me. That's what's causing me to get on here and rebut. I don't know what you're thinking. Oh, this channel that you had, that I have, you have it all taken care of, where, people are not going to hear see a lot of this channel. Rest assured, I will have a new channel coming that I'm going to be putting up. One that has not been manipulated. One that has not been, sabotaged. That way you guys can really get the full content of every video that I put up. That is definitely coming. And everything that I've said, all the videos that I've put out, I'm going to re-upload them on this channel so that people can see, and it reaches a wider audience, so that people can see the truth about this monster. And seeing that, he's relentless. He's making new videos talking trash about me. He's sending me comments, and he's bold. And I've asked him several times to take the videos down because he's lying, but he won't. So it's all good. It's fair game. It's fair game. So again, if you guys want to reach out to me, definitely, shoot me a comment, letting me know that you're interested in knowing more about what happened, my unfortunate interaction with this criminal. And we can definitely make some arrangements so that we can have a deeper dialogue about it. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, because I have bigger fish to fry than to sit up and talk about this weirdo, this sad person. And I know that you're listening, Michael. You're not going to be able to continue to pull the wool over people's eyes, friend. You're just not going to be able to, because people who lie, people who do dirt in the dark, it all comes to the light. It simply does. So even though you're making a really good effort right now with your followers and these people who think they know you, at the end of the day, just like everything else in this world that is truly darkness, and people think it's light, it's going to come to the light. Because that's what happens when you're dealing with people who are righteous. Now, I'm not perfect by any means, but I'm a righteous individual. And I'm upright. And I know that when I came to your apartment, I came out there with the intentions that you were someone that was suffering through what I was suffering through. We had that in common. And you were going to be able to help me for that particular moment and that time. I had no obligations to go into full details about this, that, and the third, any more than you had any right had to go into full details about yourself. So when you're talking about this hotel situation at the end, which I just think is insane, like I don't even know if I should get into that right now, because it's just so retarded. Like, this person kicks me out of his house and wanted to make me homeless in California, in a huge city and state that I am not familiar with. I don't know anyone there, and he was adamant about trying to make me homeless in this city. And he had threatened to do this to me. I think I could be wrong, but it was maybe the second or the third day I was there. Once he had done that, it was the second day, because this was right after we had that blow up with myself and Still Blessed, and he was calling me, he said that I was a witch. He called myself and Still Blessed a witches, and accused us of working together in some sort of conspiracy. And then after Still Blessed left, he went on attacking me, telling me to get the F out of his house and leave. And, he was really adamant about that. So at that point, I started reaching out to this other target and asking, well, I started reaching out to several people that I had been talking to and asking them for help because I knew what I was dealing with. So I reached out and I was asking them for help. And I just told them, send me whatever you can send me, whatever will be helpful, whatever will be beneficial and helpful. So I had a couple people reach back out to me and they were like, yeah, we can help you or whatever. And of course, I'm not going to share this with this psycho. Like, at this point, all bets are off. Like, you're not my friend. You're a gang stalker. So why should I have the conversation with you about what I'm doing to try to protect myself from you? So when we get out to, he drove me out to Oceanside, which is where the Greyhound was supposed to be leaving from. Mind you, the only reason why he got the Greyhound for me is because his mother made him do it. His mother made him do that. Because he was trying to kick me out of his house in California and just have me out homeless. That's what he wanted. Now, everybody that knows anybody that's really a target, that they love doing that. They love having that control over your well-being and whether or not you're going to be okay or not. They love it. So he was like, adamant about trying to put me in that situation and put me in that position. So his mom forced him to get me that ticket for the Greyhound. So he gets me, and he didn't want to do it. He took me out to Oceanside, and at this point, he still hadn't got the ticket. So we go out to Oceanside, and we're at this. He wants to drop me off on the street. He was like, what street did you want me to drop you off on? And I was like, I don't want to be dropped off on a street, in a city I don't know. I said, just drop me off at a hotel. And I'm going to try to see if I can stay in the lobby until it's time for my bus. Now, we all know that, with the COVID and things like that, they don't want you staying in the hotels and in the lobbies and things like that, without you having a room there. So I didn't know how I was going to maneuver it, but I was just like, don't worry about it. You shouldn't be concerned about what I'm going to do at this point. We are, 1, not friends. 2, you kicked me out of your home. We're not on good terms, so you don't need to be worried about what I'm going to do after this. Get the ticket and be on your way. So we're sitting in the lobby, and he's like seething. He does not want to buy this ticket. So he's like looking around. I can see the wheels turning. He's trying to figure out what he can do. He's getting up and leaving. He got up and left twice. And then he came back and he was like, he asked me if there was some sort of an alternative. He was like, do you want to try to leave? And I said, no, Michael, I need to leave today or at least tomorrow because I don't have any money to get a room. And I can't be staying in this situation here like this because we all know, like I just said, they're not going to allow you to do that. So he sat there for a little bit longer, and then he went ahead and got a call and made the reservations over his phone. So I went to his car, got my bags or whatever, and I'm sitting in the lobby or whatever, and he was like, so what are you going to do? And I said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about what I'm going to do. You got the ticket, leave. So he leaves or whatever. And I went ahead and went to the lady and I talked to her and I said, is it okay if I stay in the lobby? I'm waiting on somebody. Is it okay if I and she's like, who are you waiting on? I said, I'm waiting on my friend. He's coming back. So she was like, oh, okay. So I'm sitting there for a little while, and then I don't know, maybe it was around 11. She was like, we're closing here pretty soon. So I was just like, okay, didn't know what I was going to do. Prior to that, he was like, well, if you can't, sit in the lobby, just go sit on the beach. Just go sit on the beach. Just completely heartless. Because that's what he wanted. That's what he wanted. So when it got close to the time for the lobby to close, I maneuvered, and I'm not going to go into everything that happened and what I did, but when you're a targeted individual, you have to survive. So I did what I had to do so that I can have a place of shelter, and not have to be out sitting on the beach in a city in the middle of the night, with my situation being what my situation is, with my being targeted and assaulted. So, and I had already explained to him that I didn't want to do that. That wouldn't be safe for me. But of course, that was exactly what he wanted to happen, because that's how evil and wicked he is. So and this is before the lobby closed. I had gone out to the beach because I'd never been to the beach before. I'd never been to the ocean before. So I'd walk down to the ocean, and I wanted to see, I wanted to just kind of experience that. And I left my bags and stuff in the lobby because at this point it was still open. When I came back, the girl came up to me and said, hey, you just missed your friend. And so I was like, oh, really? And she was like, yeah, because I wasn't expecting him to come back. I just made that up. So she's like, you just missed your friend. He came back in and asked if you got a room. And I was just like, what? And she said, yeah. And I said, I went ahead and told him that, yeah, you had one, because I had told her I was going to get one. I mean, you can't just be in the lobby of a hotel and not get a room. And so I was just like, yeah, are you sure that? She's like, yeah, it was him. He came back and he asked me if you got a room and how much were the rooms. And I said, are you serious? He's like, yeah. So he comes back into the hotel, asked this woman how much the rooms were and if I got a room, knowing I'd already told him what I was going to try to do so that I could have some shelter for that night. And he comes back trying to sabotage that so that I could be out on the beach. You see how wicked and evil this individual is? And he tells on himself in the video. He says flat out that he went back and he found out that I had a room. Like, are you serious? She claims she didn't have any money. I already told him, one, I had money to buy myself food, and I was reaching out. And that last day I was there, I was telling him that I was reaching out trying to get more money. I didn't tell him that I had that they had sent me some already. But I was trying to get more because I knew I was going to need more. Being in California, you're trying to get a hotel room, it's expensive. So I knew I was going to need more. So at that point, I was trying to get more money, but I don't know very many people that are targets, and I don't reach out to very many targets often, and I definitely don't ask people for money. That's just not my MO. I don't feel comfortable doing that. But I was so shocked. I was like, why would this guy kick me out of his house? He knows that I'm in a situation where I can't really afford a room. I've already told him what I planned on doing after he wanted to drop me off on the street, that I was going to, try to spend the time until I think my bus came at 6:00 in the morning in this lobby, with just the pretense that I'm going to get a room or whatever, yada, yada. Like, why would you come in and try to flake that up? Like, why would you do that? Because you are a gang stalking Satanist. I'm blown away at how people they're not like mortified by him telling on himself, saying that he actually drove back to that hotel after saying that I'm a gang stalker. He doesn't want me in his home. I'm a Satan worshiper. I'm a witch. All of these things he's saying about me, and he gets me out of his home and he's trying to make it seem like it was so hard to do, and now you can't be gone. You out stalking and lurking and walking just like a gang stalker. So I'm just like, you guys can't see through this. Like, seriously, you can't see. He's telling on himself. Because if I wanted somebody out of my, like for instance, when I was done with him, I wasn't calling him. I wasn't making videos about him. I wasn't going into his comment box on his videos. Man, I was done. I was done. Because I knew who he was and what he had done. But this dude would not leave me alone. He kept calling me that night. He went on social media and kept sending me messages, and I made a video about him calling me repeatedly and sending me text messages. He would not leave me alone. And that's why in this one video that I just made here recently, I was telling him, I said, I'm done